All right, welcome back. This is our GMC Sierra X or tweet of the night, and it comes from Pro Football Focus talking about the job the Steelers have done on Cooper Kupp. Now, 2019, younger player in the league, but just 4 targets, no receptions. And then yesterday, he's coming off back-to-back 150-plus yard games after returning from injury, and they limited him to 6 targets, 2 catches. He had 2 drops, but only 29 yards. Jeff, you got to give the Steelers coaching staff credit here and their execution of taking a guy like Kupp out of it. I know they have to, give him the attention, which frees up a guy like Puka Nacua. He certainly took full advantage, but also on the other side of it, Aaron Donald. He did not have this kind of Aaron Donald game that you would expect. He wasn't noticeable at times, and that's saying something for a defense or an offense to make sure that he can be kind of neutralized, and they did that.
Yeah, and let's start with that Steelers defense. I mean, Puka Nacua had a lot of catches, but 0 touchdowns. And remember in the golden days, 10 years ago, with the Dick LeBeau defenses, they would give up yards. It's not like those defenses would hold people to 50 yards a game. They would give up yards, but when you got to the 20, you weren't getting anything. And I think the Steelers, I'm not saying they're at that level, but it's that same type of mentality. You're going to give up yards, but let's keep them out of the end zone, hold them to field goals, or at least in the Rams' case, field goal attempts that miss wide left. I thought the Steelers' defense, that mentality is good. And as for the offensive line, I mean, listen, they did a nice job. Aaron Donald had 4 tackles, a couple of quarterback pressures. And it's funny because you could see that they were running away from Aaron, which is a very smart strategy.
It is. Stay away. Don't get near him, because things can happen bad if you do. Let's go to the number 1 Cochran Go One Better call of the night. Beginning tonight would be Paul in New Brighton, Pennsylvania. Paul, welcome to the Sports Call. Go right ahead.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Paul.
While I was watching the Steeler game, I was switching back and forth to the Cleveland, Indianapolis, and there were some calls that was made when Cleveland was in the red zone. I think maybe they should change a rule in that last 2 minutes that gives the coach an extra challenge during that time, because I thought that there were some calls made that maybe cost Indianapolis the game.
Well, I don't know if you can challenge what you're describing. There were 2 penalty calls, and you can't really challenge those the way it's set up right now. The first one was a defensive hold on Amari Cooper, which nullified a strip sack that would have ended the game. So they get a new set of downs. And then later, there's a pass interference call in the end zone, Jeff, which it was, to me, an uncatchable ball. But again, a new set of downs, and they end up scoring on the final play of the game. So that's just bad officiating to me. But he brings up something about 2 minutes. How about what happened yesterday with, and I'm not making any excuses for Sean McVay, He shot his wad of timeouts. He did not have an opportunity to look at that 4th down spot. But if it had gotten inside of 2 minutes, they would have done it in New York. Why should that be the line in the sand, the 2 minutes? I mean, to me, that's kind of a call that should go upstairs regardless, given the part of the game we were in. And I'm not making excuses for them. They blew it. They didn't get a chance to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what they're weighing, even when you talk about, are you going to replay officials' calls? And remember, they kind of toyed around with pass interference. Length of game. Length of game is a big deal in today's society. That game was already going long. I'm not saying you don't want to get it right. You do. But if you open yourselves up to interpretation on penalties, those replays could take a while, because one person's interpretation could be different from another on something that's a bang-bang play. Better officiating is the answer. And the other thing is, and Bill Cowher used to say this, take it out of the ref's hands. Like, have enough of a lead where the refs can't matter. And unfortunately, in that situation for Indianapolis, no. And listen, I think this division is, after maybe a rocky start, is starting to show what everybody thought it was, or most people thought it was, as far as the level of talent, the level of competition. I think Cleveland's a good team. Baltimore just destroyed a Detroit team who gave Kansas City its only loss. And I think Cincinnati is on the come too. So, I mean, if you win this division, man, you should be iron sharpens iron, as Tomlin says. Like, you should be ready for anything in the postseason. If you get a home playoff game, maybe they could do something, but they still got a long way to go.
Absolutely. It's only 6 weeks, but they are 4-2 with 3 at home coming up. We'll talk about Penguins and some baseball when we return. 412-575-2600. Call us back in a flash right here on Pittsburgh's KDKA Plus.